some people are wondering what's going on with RWBY Volume 10 and what's going on with RWBY as a whole, and is there any information around that? We're not going to share any concrete news today, but what we can say is that conversations are going very well to find RWBY a new home. We cannot share who just yet, but we have identified some great partners that would be great homes for it, and we hope to share some news in the very near future, like in the next coming week. So it won't be waiting for too long.
Yeah.
And we have all kinds of exciting stuff to talk about. The other cool beat about it is the wonderful creative team that has been working on RWBY for all these years will still be in the mix as well. So we have all kinds of great stuff.
We better get that good news soon, otherwise this is going to age like milk. Hello Internet, I'm your only mate, and it's high time I got to cover the last two Volume 9 Beyond episodes. Why am I doing this, like, 2 in 1 video? Well, it's because they came out at the same time, so I'm doing one video for both of them. Got quite a bit to cover, so let's get going. And to a somewhat surprise, episode 3 follows somewhat in the Ever After. And something I do want to call a bit of attention to. And that being that the episode is narrated by RWBY. So right off the bat, I kind of question how she's able to recap what somewhat was up to in the Ever After. Though this has led to an adorable headcanon of mine, because I made a little fanfiction in which is in the future, and, well, RWBY has herself a daughter. So I kind of headcanon that that's who she's narrating this to. Doesn't really matter for the video, it's just something I thought was cute. As is just seeing Somewhat and Juniper again. And they go on a trek through the Ever After, visiting the acres that, well, we saw in Volume 9, starting off with the gems. And how they just kind of ignore Somewhat. Though it's to do with them just being so concentrated on what they're making, except for the purple one, who is resting, a very important part of physical activity, which... there's no joke for that, that just is important. With everything hunky-dory there, Somewhat travels to the Garden Acre, and we find out that Hawker is back. The bird person got ripped apart by Jabberwockers when Curious Cat was, we'll hold them off, but yeah, we just heard them get murdered. But because of Somewhat's new purpose, finding what is wrong, well, they're not finding anything wrong, so they're feeling somewhat discouraged. And we see the Herbalist again, who, well, has a request for Somewhat. See, there's an Arthurian who's in need. So the Herbalist gives Somewhat a bag full of leaves from the tree, and, yeah, tells him to go find them. And their quest brings them to the Crimson Keep, and, the castle is empty. With no one to oppose them, Somewhat seizes the throne, and the kingdom is theirs, which they will rule with an iron paw. Okay, that doesn't happen. They just search the castle and find the Red Prince, who I'm actually surprised is still there, because in Volume 9, the Curious Cat did that thing where it was like, here, take a piece of my heart, and, you know, that causes him to start crying. They do the same thing to the Herbalist, and they get swallowed up by the ground and go back to the tree. So I just kind of assumed that's what happened to the Red Prince. I was surprised to find out that he's still around. So, hey, that was something. The two somewhat recall each other, and, well, somewhat questions if they were friends. No. So the two play themselves a game, and, well, ask each other what their purpose is. The Red Prince is to win this game. And, well, Somewhat thinks that's somewhat unfair. Because what if their purpose was to win? And they even proposed the Red Prince, you know, could teach others how to win this game. Appropriately timed because they just win. And to my genuine surprise, the Red Prince is okay with that. Like, he smiles and even says, "Thank you for playing this game." From what I remember of him in Volume 9, I actually didn't expect that. So, yeah, quite the turnaround. With that done, Somewhat leaves and decides, you know what, I feel like a rest. So they go to the acre where, well, one, the Jabberwocker was from, and where Neo's mansion was. But they are cut off by a portal, and they greet the person on the other side.
Life is seldom as straightforward. That's when they saw someone that they were somewhat not prepared to see. You're back!
I'm sorry, what? And that's the end of the episode. Okay, so I am left with all kinds of thoughts. It's good to just see that everything's alright in the Ever After. And also the turnaround with the Red Prince, that was actually quite touching, so kudos on that. And that ending, I'm just like, who? Who has returned to the Ever After, or at least returned in front of Somewhat that they recognize? Now hold on, bear with me, because I have some thoughts. Okay, so it has to be one of 5 people. It's either RWBY, Weiss, Blake, Yang, or Jean. Now, I've seen people say that it could be Neo, but Somewhat never met Neo, because Neo went into the tree, and that's another reason why I think it's not Neo, because Neo was still in the tree, and as we saw with the Herbalist and RWBY, whoever goes back to the tree, they emerge from the tree, not the portals. So, it's not her. So with it only being those 5 possible options, I'm gonna go ahead and say the 2 most likely candidates are RWBY and Jean. Because Somewhat had that really touching and eye-watering last little goodbye hug with RWBY saying everything will be alright, Huntress, and that melts my heart because Somewhat remembers her. And Jean was the one who requested Somewhat to look after Juniper. So, while it's not impossible there could be Weiss, Blake, or Yang, I think those 3 are less likely because, well, the other 2 had a more meaningful interaction and goodbye with Somewhat. Now, what also begs the question is that because of the design of the portal, it's more likely the whoever it is has the Staff of Creation because that's an Ambrosius portal, unless the Sword of Destruction also has that kind of, like, possibility they can create portals, but I doubt it because what does portals have to do with destruction? But anyway, so it's gonna be Somewhat in the future when maybe the heroes get the Staff of Creation back, or all the relics back even, from Salem. So it's likely this is a post Salem RWBY or Jean, most likely. And RWBY was the one narrating all of this, so she could have found out everything that Somewhat was up to and be recounting it to whoever it is that she's narrating all this to. So yeah, I think it's RWBY. So yeah, that ramble aside, I really enjoyed this Volume 9 Beyond episode. Really sweet to see. And yeah, just a solid episode, I think. But we've still got one more. And that is RWBY and Yang. And I'm just going to throw this out there. These 2 do not feature, which I was hoping they would when I saw the, RWBY and Yang were in the thumbnail, and there was a tease that at least Barbara's voice would be heard in this one. But given everything that happens in this episode, it would have been nice to see these 2, but I don't think they were needed. The 2 were just walking down the streets of Vacuo because Yang has a surprise for RWBY. One that she's trying to find the right level of excitement for her. Like, it's not big, it's not small. You should be excited, but not too excited. Like that sort of thing. And we get a callback to Volume 1 where RWBY goes all chibi. But as the two are walking, they come across a crowd as RWBY has been recognized. And people are asking to take photos with her. Because, after all, it was her message that brought everyone to Vacuo, and everyone's all gearing up to fight Salem. RWBY is not going to get used to all the popularity that she's gotten. All the fame, the fans. She's not ready for that. And speaking of callbacks, earlier, Yang brings up the normal knees, which... man, the callbacks to Volume 1, like, the first couple of episodes even, too, like... Now, Yang is about to say something which we'll get to later, but RWBY has invented a meme!
All the flavors, the milk teas, the smoothies, the boba.
So, is it the right amount of exciting?
Are you kidding? Why did you even downplay this?
So yeah, the two sit down and have some boba, as opposed to some Django. Yeah, it turns out this place was a cafe they frequented back when the two were just in patch. Like, it went from, well, every now and then treat to, well, pretty often. Though that brings up a question, which I want some more explanation on, that, well, Tai isn't in Vacuo with everyone else. And Yang mentions that, well, Crow said he's on assignment, but... well, what's more important than here in Vacuo? But, you know, sometimes you need the bigger picture to really understand it all. What the hell could that assignment be? I don't know, maybe he's, like, off traveling Remnant, like, gathering up more people to help the cause. Well, yeah, there was RWBY's message, although her message was for everyone to go to Atlas, which has now been destroyed. Not that many people know that. At least, I don't know. So, yeah, maybe he's off giving updates with just like, yo, go to Vacuo. It's like our best chance against Salem. So maybe that's what he's doing. I just want Tai to be alive, okay? I mean, I'm fairly certain that he is, because, well, if this was his send-off, then... pretty crappy one. So, yeah, absolutely alive. Like, we're gonna see him again at some point. He's gonna have an emotional reunion with his daughters. It's gonna be wholesome. Then he's gonna find out that one of his daughters has a girlfriend, and shenanigans will ensue from that. And I want to see that scene because it will be adorable. Both the wholesome reunion and finding out about Blake and Yang. But speaking of emotional, Yang wants to talk about what happened in the Ever After. And apologize.
I don't need an explanation. I think I get it. It doesn't even matter if I do completely.
Yang,
I understand my part in you feeling like you couldn't talk to anybody about what you were going through. And that it's hard to even know what you're going through when you're in the middle of it. I just need you to know you're not alone. You can't be alone. Not with the world the way that it is. And not with what we and our team have all been through. We're not going back to the version of Team RWBY where you put everything on your shoulders. Where we put everything on your shoulders. From now on, we do it together.
As it turns out, the hardest thing about being a leader is asking for help. I thought I wasn't allowed. Thank you, Yang.
We needed that scene. And this is what I was talking about, that I don't feel like the episode really needed Weiss and Blake to feature, because this needed to be a RWBY and Yang moment. There had to be a moment between just the two of them. So with all that said, the two decide to come up with a code word for just letting each other know when they're feeling overwhelmed. And of course, it's Boba. And finally, to close out...
Boba.
Yeah. Boba.
By the way, you promised we would go shopping like weeks ago. When's that happening?
That's your priority right now?
And that is Volume 9 Beyond. Overall, yeah, four solid episodes. Yeah, it was great seeing just Ruby and Yang have this episode together. Like, just seeing them as sisters, like, the callbacks to the first couple episodes of Volume 1, like, that made me smile. Ruby's reaction to the cafe was really cute. And if this series was going to end on anything, yeah, I think ending it on just Ruby and Yang, I think, yeah, that was... I don't think I can think of a more perfect last episode for this. And that's the end of Rooster Teeth putting out RWBY stuff. And not to make this, like, somber or anything, but I do just want to get out, just thank you, Rooster Teeth, for having a hand in making this show. Like, of course, thank you, Monty, for having a dream and only remembering the colors red, white, black, and yellow. Thank you, Bernie, for greenlighting the show just off of seeing Crescent Rose morph from gun form to scythe form. No joke, that's actually how the series got greenlit. After Monty helped make Red vs. Blue seasons 9 and 10, Bernie was like, hey, now that we've done that, is there anything you want to do? Monty showed off that, and he was like, whatever this is, we're doing it. Thank you, Miles and Kerry, for helping Monty, like, map out the series and help write it, like, since day one. Thank you, Lindsay, Kara, Aaron, Barbara, for voicing the main goals, like, and just bringing them to life in a way. And of course, that extends to all the voice actors. Yeah, thank you to all the animators, editors, Jeff and Casey for, like, the music. I firmly believe that, yeah, RWBY would not be what it is without them as well. So, yeah, while we wait for the news of RWBY finding a new home, which we have that clip at the beginning of this video, RWBY will still be involved as they should. If not, we're gonna have issues. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, RWBY, and all those that helped make this show. It's become one of my favorite shows just ever. Like, if you've seen my videos or just my online presence as a whole, then you know this show means a lot to me. So, yeah. One last time, just thank you, RWBY, for everything. And that's where I'm gonna end this off. So, while we wait for the news, thanks for watching, and here is, well, both my Blake outro and Yang outro. Bye.
This is Blake Belladonna with Your Only Mate saying like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Your Only Mate on YouTube. You rock! Thanks for watching.